All right, friends, we are back, and our dough has been resting for probably about 10-15 minutes now. So we're going to unwrap it, and we're going to get down to rolling it out. Now, already you could tell, it's already even more pliable. It's softer. It's just beautiful right now. So what we're going to do is, using my bench scraper here, and this is very useful when you're making homemade pasta. So I'm gonna cut a piece off here. I want to flatten that out. Now what we're gonna do, we're gonna make our first sheet of pie. Actually, maybe I think we're gonna use a little bit of a, yeah, that'll work. So we're going to keep this wrapped. Now what we're going to do is we're going to roll this out. I'm using my KitchenAid pasta maker attachment. Now some of you might have one of these hand crank versions, which are excellent. I mean, they're very good, but they are a considerable more work to do, but that's fine. If that's what you got, use it. Some of you might even want to go even more old school and roll it out by hand. Believe it or not, in my opinion, I think that's actually for the more advanced pasta maker, because, as I say, it's very, it really is about feel, and it's a good idea, I think, to get more used to handling pasta, to know what it is you want, the right thinness and everything. So for now, this is what we're going to use. It's a good time saver. So we start by taking that pasta. We want to just flatten it out a little bit, and then have here just a little cup of flour, which you want to use just for periodic dusting. So we're gonna just give that a little sprinkle, rub it around a bit. You know, it just helps it pass through the machine a little more easily. Okay, so we want a almost sort of rectangular-ish piece there. All right, so let's put our roller on, and we're gonna pass that through. All right, so we got that. Now what you want to do is fold the edges over, that will flatten, and then like that, almost like a doughy envelope. And we're gonna pass that through again. And then one more time. We're doing this on the very first, number 1 setting. Okay. Now we're going to turn it up to wrong button. We're going to turn this up to number 2. Turn it up to number 3 and pass it through again. And turn it up to number 4. Put it through again. Number 5. Whoops. I find sometimes it's better to cut some of these ends a bit just so we have it passes through nice and evenly. So I'm just cutting that little edge off there. Now we're going to turn it up to number 6 and run it through once more. Now, I've been lately, when I make this, I stop at 6. Now, you could go, oops, I even stretch it out a tiny little bit. All right. We get a little, so. We're going to now just sort of cut this in. So we're going to cut this in half a bit, just so. All right. Now from there we're going to cut some off. So I go about 1.5 inches strips. Like so. And then from there, so do another one. They don't have to be absolutely perfect, but I want to try and get them mostly uniform. Then we're going to cut these into squares. So, like so. Now, you want to maybe just flatten it out a tiny bit. Like so. Okay, this is where things get really fun. So, what I have here, this is called a gnocchi board. It's a grooved rectangular piece of wood. This is a gift from my friend Cheech, which honestly, I gotta say, ever since I saw the movie Big Night and watched Stanley Tucci making this Garganelli using this and a pencil, I thought, I have to have one of these. Finally was able to get one. And I love it. It's probably one of my favorite cooking gadgets I have, and it's probably about the simplest thing imaginable. If you don't have one of these, I'm sure if you look around the house, you can find something you can improvise with. So don't worry about not having the perfect thing. Again, work with what you got. All right. For the rolling, you need a piece of dowel. I'm using actually a Japanese watercolor brush because it just happens to be the right gauge. My music's messing up there, which I don't like. I was listening to a little Mozart. I find, have good music. And one thing I'd recommend, this is a great family project to do. You can have a lot of fun. You got the kids around or your partner. Do this. Put on music, dance around the kitchen. As I believe it was Virginia Woolf once said, cooking should be like love. It should be entered into it with wild abandon. Unfortunately, I'm single and self-isolated, so this is as much wild abandon I'll be getting for a while. Wah wah. Anyways, in all seriousness. Okay, first of all, I think we're gonna move our pasta maker aside. So we have move everything over so we can really Let's see what we're doing here. So, all right. So we got our thing. Now keep a little bit of, as I say, you got a little flour there. Sprinkle a little some on your grooved board and place this diagonally like so, with the corner just hanging over slightly. All right. Now from there we take our dowel. Now we're gonna just put a little thing. Now I want to put a little, sprinkle a tiny bit on the top side of this, because if it's tacky, it's going to stick to the board and it'll be harder to slide off. All right, so we just fold over that little corner and we try to keep it snug, and we're just doing a nice little roll here and continue on. Gently slide it off, and look at that. Isn't that beautiful? Just like so. Now what we're gonna do is you wanna keep a cookie sheet. That's lined with parchment, and you wanna sprinkle some flour on that, because that is where we are going to put our Garganelli. Now we're gonna try to do another one. Now, if this is your first time doing this, it's going to take a little while to get the hang of. You know, it's enough just making the pasta and getting that right. But once you start doing this, it's really, it's a little bit of a trick. But, you know, after your first few, hey, it might even take a dozen before you really get the hang of it. But, you know, don't give up. Again, we got a nice one there. See? But as I say, don't give up, because you do eventually fall into a rhythm here. And, you know, pretty soon it's like you'll get muscular memory. It'll be nothing. You'll fall into that groove. And like I say, have music. Do this as an assembly line with others. Make a game of it. And when this whole pandemic is, you know, past us, you know, like, this is a wonderful thing to do. Get together with friends. Pardon me for a sec. I need a sip of coffee. Normally I'd be having wine while I do this, but I don't have any wine right now, and I'm waiting till tomorrow. It's my birthday tomorrow, so I'm going to be staying in, making myself a homemade panzerotti, and have a really nice bottle of wine. Hey, maybe we could all have dinner together remotely. I think there'll be a lot. We'll be seeing a lot of that. What do you think, guys? Does that sound like fun? Well, I'll try to go live, and then you can have dinner with Velvet. That sound like a good time? I think so. So, now we're giving that a little brush off, and one more. And another one. See? It's just like so. Just take your time, enjoy the process of it. That's the one thing about this, is it should be a labor of love. Okay? It can be actually quite zenful, but also, you know, yeah. Cooking is love. Absolutely. So always remember that. Love the ones you're cooking for, the ones you're cooking with, and, you know, it makes it a truly joyful experience. And there's a great quote that I absolutely love. It is by the poet, philosopher George Santayana, who once said, "There's nothing to which men, while they have food and drink, cannot reconcile themselves." Sage words. And I think that's absolutely true. And it doesn't matter if it's a big banquet with all the fixings, or it's just a simple thing as a little bread and wine. That's it. We have so often, you know, like, it's well, like I was thinking about my lack of video setup here, that, you know what, I still have quite a bit, right? And I think when you realize that, you know, sometimes, like, you know, I may not have, I don't have nearly as much as many do, but I know I have probably a great deal more than many do. So I have to be very happy, and as we all should be, especially at this time when we're at home, we're taking stock, and we're finding ways to, you know, keep ourselves busy, you know, amid all that, you know, fear and madness out there. So, anyways, you've, what you're going to do now is when you get this all filled up, put them in the freezer as they are for about an hour or two. That way until they get hard and frozen. Then you could gather them all up, put them in, say, a Ziploc bag, and they'll freeze for as long as you need them. If you try just putting them in as is, they like throw them in a bag as is, they'll all clump together. It'll be ruined. So do that. Stick them just flat, like so, and put them in the freezer. They'll be hard. Then you throw them in. Then next time, when you're ready to cook them, you can pull out what you need, boil them up, and that will be the our next episode, where I'm going to show you a really simple but delicious pasta dinner, and till we meet again. In the meantime, keep on doing what we're doing. So you got those. Now just repeat that about 100 times. Okay. Thank you very much for joining me, friends, and be well.